Wait, we're live. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to episode 46 of the Frontline Black News. I am your host, Chan Kruma. I'm joined with my other host, Lady Che. And we are joined with our guest tonight, Shabaka Sankori of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, of which I am the co-host of. And also we're joined by my good brother, good friend, by the name of Christian Mata. And we will be discussing several things tonight. The first thing we will be discussing is tangibles. This is the decade of tangibles. And now it's 2022 and it's tangibles 2022. The next thing we'll be discussing is LA inmate killed in custody and the family demands answers. Lieutenant Governor of Virginia says we need to move on from slavery. Rihanna puts a photo of MLK with gold teeth. Biden's been in office for a year. Where are our tangibles? We're still waiting on you Biden supporters to call in. We know that you're tuning in. We know that you're going to be listening to the playback. We need you to call Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced at 516-418-5996 and press 1 and you'll be added to the queue. So we're still waiting on you. Bill blocking rap lyrics in court in NYC. So several rappers have come together in this endeavor. Cedric Lofton killed in Kansas jail. Arkansas, 4 prisoners in Arkansas are suing Washington County Jail for giving them, I might butcher this name, but I believe it's called epinephrine. It's like for horses, but they've been giving it to people as a supposed cure for the C-19. Unhoused Neighbor News and Unhoused Neighbor Sweets.
Yes, sir.
Start us off with tangibles. Like I just stated, this is the decade of tangibles. We're going to continue to demand something for our votes. The Democratic Party is not going to keep taking our votes for granted, Black family. The malign neglect policy, where they lump us into broad, ambiguous terms such as people of color, minorities, marginalized, disenfranchised, downtrodden, underrepresented, underprivileged, and the list goes on, is over with. We're not going to take it anymore. So any politician that is seeking your vote, demand something tangible for your votes. As I've said it on numerous shows, tangible, that's something with substance, not symbolism. Not the first that. That's not benefiting us collectively as a whole, Black family. Seeing 1 or 2 Black politicians in the halls of power is not getting us anywhere, Black family, especially when we didn't put them in the first place. So,
right.
What we're saying with Tangibles 2020 is if you're going to vote, you don't have to vote. You really don't have to vote. But if you choose to vote and participate in this political process, demand something tangible for your vote. Stop just voting just because the white-owned media told you to go out and vote, or because you just couldn't believe a politician said what they said. Vote because you have an agenda, you have a cause, and you have a reason. And that reason is tangibles. Reparations, $100 trillion for past, present, and future atrocities as U.S. government, this corporation known as the United States, continues to put us through in 2022. So any politician that's seeking your vote, that goes for the local level, the state level, and the federal level. demand something tangible for your vote. And the Democratic Party is imploding on itself. We're seeing the signs every day that the Democratic Party is literally imploding on itself. And Black family, if we do not vote in the midterm and in the 2024 presidential election, that will send a message to the Democrats that we are no longer on their plantation, we are no longer supporting them, and we are no longer on that bandwagon. We need to either go independent or drop out altogether. I'm
Right.
advocating for dropping out altogether because neither one of the
Right.
done nothing tangible for us, and we've been voting for what 150 years, Shabaka.
Yep. Actually, sir, going on 170 years, if I got my math right.
Wow.
Okay, now let me see. 1865, that's 35 years to 1900. 1900 was 122 years ago. So 35 and 122 is over 156 years, sir.
Wow. And we have got nothing tangible from either one of the parties. So why do we
Exactly.
continue to participate in this political process? Well,
Okay. If I may say. Now, in my lifetime, I remember, now, if I got it right, traditionally we used to vote Republican up to about 1960 because of Lincoln being a Republican who freed the slaves, right?
mhm,
Okay, now I've spoken to a couple of OTBs, meaning other than Black,
mhm,
and they had stated, okay, and they had stated, as you know, it was the Democrat Party that brought you the Ku Klux Klan. And the Ku Klux Klan has brought you such atrocities of Emmett Till, the situation where the mother and the son were hung off a bridge in Oklahoma
mhm,
about 1913, I believe. Uh, they also brought you more police, particularly in the 1960s. And keep in mind that Tricky Dick, who was a Republican in 1968, had stated that his campaign was law and order. But
mhm,
keep in mind that you had a Democrat by the name of Lyndon Johnson
mhm,
who made the statement that say if you convince the poorest and brokest of white people that they're better than a nigger, excuse the term, they'll be voting Democrat for the next 50 or 60 years. Now, I ask you, let's do some simple math. Take 2022 and minus 1965, and that they will tell you just how long they've been pimping us with this bullshit.
mm, mm, mm.
And I like what the brother said, man. That's actually, man, I got to say that's real, you know, on fact on what you're saying, man. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people probably don't know that knowledge out there too, you
Yes,
know,
sir. Thank you,
especially dealing
sir.
with the Republican Party. You know what I'm saying? And because you're elder too, because of your age, because you were just saying what, you know, around there. And I mean, personally, I feel like shit, a brother like me, man, just be independent. I mean, because I mean, you can't really go too much no far with Democrats or Republicans. As a matter of fact, people talk about when Obama's administration came in, but he set up more of a socialist type of like thing to try to get to where it's going right now. You know, it's kind of like a open kicking the ass for our people and stuff like that because you don't even hear much about him or Michelle. You know, if
Yes,
you ain't
sir.
that informed, you know,
Want our vote?
this capitalism is getting ready to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's gonna
Absolutely.
fall.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's gonna
inevitable.
fall. You know, and it's crazy because when you mention Tricky Dick, which we all know Tricky Dick, you know what I'm saying, how much he did a lot of stuff, especially with the civil rights, how
Yes,
much he
sir.
didn't, you know, he's no different than J. Edgar Hoover, you know what I'm saying, and all the bullshit that he was doing and spying on the black
Right.
organizations and calling them terrorists, you know, just bullshit. You know, I mean,
Oh,
fuck them
absolutely.
crackers, in my opinion. You know
Oh,
what I'm
I
saying?
agree
That's
with you,
just in
sir.
my opinion.
Yes, sir.
And I'm waiting for that day. But you know what's funny is white people gonna bring down their own government.
Yeah,
They're
that
gonna
is
bring their
true.
own government down.
Yes, sir. And to
You know,
prove
I
your
see
point,
that.
no, I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead. I was done. I'm listening to you.
You
Oh,
said
yes, sir. And to
national,
prove you,
Marta.
Here we go.
I said you sound like a black nationalist.
Who, me?
Yeah,
A black nationalist?
yeah.
I don't know. What does that mean?
That means you want
okay.
an all black nation,
Oh yeah, man. I'm a revolutionist.
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. And black
You
nationalism
know,
is in fact is revolutionary.
Yes,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, like after like just reading along, going along, and knowing myself and what I fight for our people. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough.
right.
And trust me, there's a shift coming for our black people. There's a big shift coming. Oh, trust me, it's gonna be so good. Like I say, hey, man, Jesse,
Mm,
yo, we got this shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's that state of mind of this us all awakening up and getting into that point because white people have no grounds,
right.
no grounds.
You're right.
Even if they think they got grounds, you know what I'm saying? Well, what kind of grounds do you got? You know what I'm saying? Well, you let me know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I know you don't. So yeah, I just said fuck them. Excuse
Yeah, pretty much.
my way of talking, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know,
Yeah, it's all
it's
good,
just
brother. And then on top of it too, that I did a special edition, or we did a special edition on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. What was that last night, brother Che?
Yes, sir.
and you know what? I was actually trying to get on y'all show,
Oh,
and
okay.
forgive me for that because I've been so busy, man. I do a lot of astrology too, and I want to help our people out with that too.
Oh,
So I
absolutely.
just was real busy.
Oh,
You know
yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? But I
Absolutely.
mean, I know it's a bomb show. You know what I'm saying? And from the little peeps that I do try to kid, that my brother Jesse, what I'm saying, give me, you know, it's gonna happen. I just be trying to make moves, too many moves sometimes.
Oh, yes, sir. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Okay. During the height of the Black empowerment era, that would be the year 1968.
Mhm.
Now, the song
Hmm.
that reflected of how we was feeling was a song called Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud by James Brown.
Yes, sir.
I distinctively
Hmm.
remember 1968 is because this is the year that Dr. King was assassinated. And then the night that Dr. King was assassinated, the Black nationalist movement got extremely busy that night. Okay, it's because hey, when you kill a man like King who advocated peace, and then you're gonna go on and bust a cap in him, and even he said that he had led our people into a burning house of integration.
Mhm.
And that was the ultimate of an insult, just like what the elder was saying on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced a few weeks ago, Brother Che,
Yeah,
Brother McChesnick.
yeah.
Okay, because I was 9 years old when Dr. King was assassinated. But the thing I remember about 1968
Mm.
was the total Black pride movement altogether. And then, particularly when you had this arrogant dude about 6'3", and I think this guy was heavyweight champ, and he did not want to go to a particular military conflict in a place called Vietnam.
Yeah.
And white America had hated him. And the more that white America had hated him, the more that we had loved him, is because he pretty much had set a standard for the image of a strong black male that they despise to this day.
Yeah.
Now, this is why they try to effeminize the black male. Okay. And the reason being is because they know if he ever uprise, that this is the most formidable soldier that ever been on the planet. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mm.
when you look at my man who led the Amistad revolt,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh
Sin
yeah,
Q.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
When you look at
Yep.
Nat Turner, when you look at uh um
Martin Delaney.
Martin Delaney, King Shaka,
That,
Frederick Douglass, my man down there in Haiti, Toussaint L'Ouverture, Henry Dessalines. Then also two of the great kings and businessmen and architects we had on the continent, from Mansa Musa to Abu Bakari, and the list just goes on and on and on. Now, another dude that they feared in the 1970s, now this might gonna make you all laugh. My man Dada.
Oh yeah,
Nobody fooled Big Daddy.
Yep.
Okay.
They
They hated him.
on one knee.
But
Oh yes,
now,
yes.
you know, and there's and just to let y'all know, man, like there's a good book. If you haven't read it, you can download it on PDF. What is it? PDFdrive.com, you know. But it's called The Confessions of Nat Turner.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
And the reason that I was speaking about The Confessions of Nat Turner, and I read the book, the guy that's interviewing Nat Turner is basically explaining why he went into that rampage, because he watched white people kill his family on his land, take him, make him a slave on his own land after killing his family and stuff. You know, he had a
Right.
dream, and and the ancestors came to him, and when the ancestors came and told him, you know, that revolt and this, he went into that mind state, and he started slaying all them white people. So white people got the fucking story twisted, because The Confessions of Nat Turner is actually a good book, because he's actually explaining why he went into that trance mode. Because just like what's gonna happen, shit, I give it a couple years, man. You know what I'm saying? Soon black people gonna do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna do it in another way. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But we gonna come back, and it's gonna come through even where their own people is gonna sit up there and kill them. Be actually the Hispanics, the Spanish people, all of those people who are still us is gonna be the ones that's gonna get rid of white folks, because they're gonna get tired of being lied to and say, "Hey, man, that's my brother. I come from them. You lie. You said that
Oh
I'm
yes,
this
sir.
and I'm that." You know what I'm saying? And they gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be right behind them motherfuckers too. Like shit. Hey, look, they gonna look. That was the old master house. It's called the state capitol. Let's get that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that
That's right.
gold. You know what I'm saying?
And
You know, I
then in
mean,
addition to, when you look at certain elements of history that they try to take out, you got to redig it up, is because they got a lot of facts that they want to keep buried. And then they got a lot of ignorance that they want us to adhere to. Okay. Now, I'm not against nobody's religion or how they worship. Yes, sir.
Hold on. I gotta finish this Tangibles 2022 real quick so we can move on to the next topic. So
Oh, yes, sir.
In closing, if you're going to vote, demand something tangible for your vote. Stop voting just to be voting. Send a message to these Democrats in these midterms and the 2024 election that we're no longer going for the shit. The Milan neglect policy is out the door. They're gonna have to do something tangible. That means tangible legislation. That means reparations for us right now. They got all this money to spend on military spending. They have all this money to spend sending overseas to all these other countries.
Right.
They pay what the hell they owe. Period. If they want us to continue to participate in this process, they need to pay what they owe. So I just want to close with that.
yeah.
The next topic is LA County inmate suddenly dies and the family demands answers.
Right. Okay. Who's the attorney on the case for the family?
I don't know yet. I haven't read the whole article. I'm gonna do that now.
Okay. Hopefully it's Johnny Cochran's law firm.
Not yet.
So how does the inmate die? I mean, was he involved in some kind of like thing that seemed like it could be racial or something like that?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Without a
Because
doubt.
I know.
Go ahead.
We're going to find out together.
You're breaking up, Christian Mother. Christian Mother, you're breaking up.
Did another George Floyd somebody. Brother, you remember that case? I know it was like 10, maybe 15 years. No, 10 years ago, maybe, or something like that. It was some sheriffs, and they done killed a couple of people in the jail, but they did get they took it to trial, but I don't know what happened.
Can y'all see the screen?
Can y'all see the screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, so this
Yeah, I
is
see
the
it.
family inmate that got killed at the LA County Jail. Justice for, I think his name is Gelati.
Or
Family demands answers in inmate sudden death. Fair use YouTube. I just put the disclaimer up, but this is for educational and commentary purposes. This is from the Spectrum News One. I believe it's the local paper out of LA, one of the local papers out of LA. And it says Los Angeles, an Oakland family is demanding answers from the LA County Sheriff's Department after an inmate was found dead in a single person cell in September. What you need to know. The family of the man who died inside Men's Central Jail is demanding answers. The coroner said 27-year-old Jelani Lovett Lovert
Love it.
or Lovett,
how's the name? How's the last name spelled, Brother J?
Lovett.
Love it.
Yeah, that's love it.
Lovett died of an overdose on fentanyl and heroin September 22nd.
Ooh,
The
That's
sheriff,
very interesting.
yeah,
If I may interject, because I've been in the LA Central Jail, and they do thorough searches of you for everything. Because I had walked around in my county blues, you know what I mean, and that is definitely some foul play right there.
yeah,
And if any damn thing, how's this man gonna die in a single man cell?
right. It doesn't make any sense.
right.
Right, because it's not like that he was in the pod. It's not like that he was in the gang unit. You see what I mean?
Nope.
But if he's in a cell by itself,
Yeah, like
that alone
on a rig.
brings up some highly questionable circumstances. And the first individual who they need to jack up was the person who was in charge, or the sheriff's deputy who was in charge of that cell or that cell block. You
Right.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the first cat they need to step to. And then on top of it, when you go into the LA County Jail, they're going to search you. You know what I'm saying? They're going to search you. So maybe this narcotics was supplied to him, or he was murdered.
He was murdered.
He was murdered.
That's why the family is demanding answers.
Right.
So the sheriff's department's homicide bureau investigates all in custody deaths and still has an open investigation into the Jelani case. LA County's
So was he?
Inspector General Max Huntsman, who was tasked with overseeing the department, lamented a lack of transparency. The court
Right.
said 27-year-old Jelani Lovett died of an overdose on fentanyl and heroin September 22nd, exactly 2 years after he was taken into custody for robbery. He was in lockdown 23 hours a day, said his mother, Terry Lovett, in an interview with Spectrum News One. How did he get some fentanyl and heroin? He had no inmate contacts. While the coroner's report found no evidence of foul play or external trauma, Terry Lovett questioned bruises on her son's body and photos she obtained from the medical examiner. She filed a wrongful death claim against LA County Wednesday, alleging Jelani was beaten to death. She claims the Men's Central Jail still employs members of the 300 Boys. an alleged violent deputy gang
Mm.
involved in previous civil rights lawsuits and settlements.
Yes, sir. And they've been around at least 10 years that I know of. And then being in Los Angeles, being jacked up by the LAPD and the damn LA County Sheriffs, I find it very interesting that a lot of these sworn peace officers got these tattoos on,
Yeah,
if
well,
you know what I mean.
it's been proven that there's gangs, known gangs within the LA County lapdogs, like the executioners, and it's a lot
Hmm.
of them,
Yeah,
but they
And
all
a
have
lot of them
the
that were
tattoo.
out of the Compton station, too.
Mm-hmm.
jeez, man.
So these is white people?
Yeah,
Yes, sir. These sheriff's deputies are white and Hispanic, sir.
yeah.
Yeah, these are
Oh,
race.
well, see, here's this now. So check this out. So here's me out on this. Okay, so the funny thing that, and it's not a shock that you sit there and say that these is Hispanics working with white people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing that I tell white Hispanics, and I put it just like that, I say white Hispanics,
Mm-hmm.
meaning Hispanic was never a word to address us as people. That's what white people named them because when they raped the black women,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get rid of us after they killed the women, no, the men and the children,
Mm-hmm.
they had to make illegitimate children
Yep.
to try to get rid of us. So when
Mm-hmm.
they started making white Native Americans, white Hispanics, white Japanese, all this stuff that the places they went and tried to conquer,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they were trying to do. Some still came out looking like niggas, some didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So they are part of white offsprings. So what's
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen on that shit is that the same shit that's getting ready to happen to white people is gonna happen to their ass too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Aquamu, which is actually from the Akan, you know what I'm saying, that was actually West African that we all have, that's melanated people. We were fighting and killing them the same way because we knew that some of them was trying to work with the white men. That's why there
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of white Native American slave masters that owned a lot of black Native slave masters, and that's why they losing their land to this day. So
Yep.
again, fuck them crackers. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, unless
Facts.
y'all know the fucking rules of the game, karma. You know what I'm saying? It's like so, and that's kind of fucked up because you know I live on the west side, southwest side of Denver,
Mm-hmm.
and you would be surprised how many. I almost got hit by a fucking white Hispanic cop. I mugged him down. I almost want to run up to his car and beat his ass,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I said because you know what? What's going to happen is karma's going to get your ass. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? My ancestors work stronger than you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know my bloodline.
Facts.
You don't know the bloodline of my people. You don't
Right.
know the bloodline that's getting ready to happen. That's why you don't understand all this shit about the weather. It was snowing, now it's hot. That's because
Mm-hmm.
our ancestors know this earth is switching, meaning
Yeah.
we getting ready to end y'all capitalism. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and once that
You're
happens,
right.
y'all done. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
And to
saying?
prove
And
the
that's
brother's
that's
point,
that's just truth and facts.
Article family. We're almost done. Um, a spokesperson with the Department of the Medical Examiner expressed their condolences to the Lovett family in an email addressing questions to Spectrum News One. Postmortem charges or changes after an autopsy can sometimes appear as bruising or other trauma, and it is understandable that it may be concerning for family members, but they are a part of what happens to bodies after death, the email said. The LA County Department of Medical Examiner Coroner is an independent medical legal agency that uses science and forensics pathology to determine whether uh, and matter of death. It is not unusual for law enforcement to be present at the autopsy, but their presence does not impact the findings of our investigations. The sheriff's department's homicide bureau investigates all in custody deaths and still has an open investigation into Jelani's case. According to Lieutenant Brandon Dean, Dean said investigators do not know how the drugs got into the single person cell, but added it is not uncommon to find drugs in the men's central jail.
Okay, man, I say something in regard to the LA County Coroner's Office.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, first place, they used to have, and this dude wrote a book. His name was Thomas Noguchi. He was the coroner of LA County for over about 35 years. He did the autopsies on Robert F. Kennedy. He did the autopsies on Marilyn Monroe, William Holden, and Natalie Wood. And one thing about Noguchi, from what I understand, is that Noguchi would tell the truth of how this person died, regardless of who was trying to influence him, who was trying to say, well, hey, Mr. Coroner, could you like bend the rules a little bit? And his attitude was pretty much, no, man, he wasn't doing it. It says because from what I understand is that they was trying to get him to switch some type of evidence in the death of Natalie Wood, and also too in the death of Marilyn Monroe, and also too in the death of a dude by the name of Sal Mineo, who was a movie actor that got killed in West Hollywood. Oh shit, I believe in a robbery attempt. And then quite naturally, of course, when some of the bodies will show up at the coroner's office of LA County who are the victims of police killings. Okay? So yeah, there's something very, very fishy on that just in the 40 years that I've lived in Los Angeles County.
Right.
And you know, man, Los Angeles is one of those cities that when it goes down, it's going to go down. And
yes,
you know,
sir.
it's funny all the racism that goes on. You know, and you know, I got to try to break it down to people. I said there's a difference between being prejudiced and racism. They said no, there's no difference. I said okay, so if you like steak but I like chicken, that means I'm prejudging that I don't want your chicken. I mean, I don't want your steak, but I want my chicken. You know what I'm saying? I'm prejudging something. So that's what prejudice. Racist means I hate something out of yeah, you know, everybody got prejudice and tendencies, but to be a racist means you hate something that's not you because you hate yourself. White people hate themselves.
That's not you. You have the power to enforce that indoctrination and that ideology on the masses of the people.
Yeah. With racism.
People, yeah. That's
agreed.
Why. And so they don't. Yeah, so they hate us, dude, and they hate us to the point where they'll be prejudiced with the laws, and by being prejudiced with the laws, they know they can what I call justifiable because it's like, okay, so you see a red light, you see a green light and it turns yellow. But you see somebody black walking across the street, so you speed up even more so you can hit them and kill them and say, oh, the light was green turning yellow and he went across the street. No, you're trying to justify something through your prejudice because you're a fucking racist. You know what I'm saying? You donkey ass fucking white folks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dude.
I'm almost done with the article. Deputies administer Narcan and CPR upon finding Jelani unresponsive in his cell, according to the coroner's report. 50 people died in Sheriff's Department custody last year, an increase from 2020, according to Melissa Camacho Chang, senior staff attorney with the here we go with the ACLU.
Oh man. Okay.
That's another fraud.
Big time.
That's
you know what I'm saying? The American Civil Liberties
right there.
Yeah.
Same one that fight for gay rights and shit.
Yeah. Now keep in mind also too. Now here's another theory.
Man, this is crazy.
Now another theory to me of this man coming up dead in on Boucher Street, or the New County as they call it, could be an initiation.
Into the gang.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a possibility. So there's one more piece I got to get
Hmm.
to before we get to the next article. Um,
Yes, sir.
SD does not have to make deaths public, especially as they occur. So there's a real lack of transparency and a lack of understanding from the public to understand what the sheriff's department is doing to try and decrease the deaths and make sure people stay alive when they're in custody. Camacho Chung Chang, whatever her damn last name is.
But the thing is that you have to understand about the LA County Jail, like the Crook County Jail, like the New York County Jail at Rikers Island, just like the Denver County Jail. Anybody can come up there dead at any second
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They ain't gotta,
Basically,
behind
Yeah,
anything.
no shit.
I gotta report it. They ain't gotta tell
Because
nobody.
That's
anytime
real.
that your ass is walking that concrete, you could best believe your life is at risk.
And
risk.
I done said that
Yes.
shit a couple times when I'm talking about Rambo County over here in Aurora. And I said there have been several times where I have felt that fear in my heart, and I'm not a scared individual, but that fear in my heart that I was gonna make it out of that motherfucker, and nobody was gonna tell my folks several times. So it is a real life scenario. You know, what one of our intelligent brothers that we like to talk with said, what happened with COVID? And what are the numbers? And what did they do with the bodies?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that was going down in the city county jail.
Yep.
All over Denver City County Jail. Nobody can
Well,
talk
you
about
know,
what happened to the bodies.
Yeah. So I got one more
and you know what's crazy
Hold on,
about,
Christopher.
just to add on to what my sister is saying, is the fact that the same thing about what you saying about bodies and not showing up is the
Mhm.
same reason why they cover up that there's been four different type of cases with people with COVID, and they
Yeah.
usually deal with high blood pressure. It usually deals with like health conditions,
Mhm.
all kind of stuff like that. So them having health conditions and all of that has a lot to do with what they keep covered.
Right.
So just think about how they eat
Right.
in jails. They're
Hmm.
gonna, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna say that to the public because that's a way of them of trying to kill anybody that's not white.
Right. So
And
That's
and
that's
just
why I
that's
don't
just
eat
the premise.
and that's why I don't eat open food in jail.
yeah, it says
If
it's
it ain't sealed, I ain't eating it.
it says right on the package it's not for human consumption.
Damn.
Especially like during Ramadan when they
Yeah.
give the inmates
What?
food
Nah, shit.
packages.
They fucked up, man.
Shit, it says that right on the
Yeah.
fucking
You
package.
remember mystery meat from school? That's definitely
Yeah.
mystery meat what
Yep.
you eat. You might be eating another human being. But
Yeah, that's for real.
this article goes on to say L.A. County Inspector General Max Huntsman, who was tasked with overseeing the department, also lamented the lack of transparency. LASD investigates all deaths in its own custody, said Huntsman with some news.
So the LA County Sheriff's investigate all the in custody inmate deaths. Man, I got to laugh to keep from crying.
That's real. That's real
This
shit.
often includes investigating themselves, which is
Right.
why
Yeah.
monitoring a minimum requirement to ensure thorough and fair investigations.
I feel like Dude just lied in that whole
Yeah,
paragraph.
since LASD currently refuses to allow meaningful monitoring, we can't vouch for the integrity of their process. After
Say,
learning,
man, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and the Los Angeles Police Department, they don't have no integrity.
right,
If you're black, you're marked.
right.
Period.
Shit.
So, after learning the history of lawsuits and settlements regarding the men's central jail, Terry Lovett vowed to take her fight to federal investigators. My son ain't the first son, and if they don't clean up their system, he won't be the last, she said.
Word.
Well, the sister's definitely right about that. You know what I'm saying? And let her know is that the federal courthouse is less than a half a mile away from the LA County Men's Central Jail over there on Boucher Street.
Mm.
The only thing she's got to do is walk up from Boucher Street to Alameda, go southbound on Alameda, cross the 101 freeway, commonly referred to as the Hollywood Freeway, and the federal courthouse is right there.
Right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move us to our next topic, unless anybody has something to add.
Nope.
Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Go
Before you go on, Brother Che, and this is why a great attorney, may he rest in power, Johnny Cochran, man, may his spirit live long.
Yes.
And hopefully somebody pick up, where Mr. Cochran left off, is because Mr. Cochran has gotten claims and has gotten lawsuits filed on behalf of people in our community, the Black community, who cannot afford to pay. He took a whole lot of cases pro bono in his younger years, helping the Black community of Los Angeles. Yes, sir, he did.
Okay. So our next topic is Virginia's first woman lieutenant governor says we need to move on from slavery. No, I'm gonna.
Boy, she's funny.
So
Okay, move on from slavery.
Article real quick, and then we'll have.
Yes, sir.
Where's play at on this? Here we go.
On Saturday, Lieutenant Governor-elect Winsome Sears became the first Black woman to hold statewide office in Virginia. A Republican Marine Corps vet and a former legislator who could cast tie votes on issues she campaigned on, such as restricting abortion and repealing gun control. From member station BN and Paisley reports, Winsome Sears moved to New York from Jamaica when she was 6 years old. Everything was unfamiliar. The smells, the cold, the deadbolt of her apartment door.
When I stepped off that plane at JFK, it was very traumatic because I stepped into a new world.
Sears was following her father, who she says arrived with only $1.75 in her pocket. But Sears thrived. She graduated high school early with honors and joined the Marine Corps. She got a master's, started her own business, and is now set to become one heartbeat away from becoming governor. Sears sees her own success as proof that the U.S. is progressing when it comes to race.
I'm from another country, another culture, but here I am. I see racism as one more hurdle in life.
She sees a country that undereducates its children and overtaxes its citizens, a country unwilling to move on from its dark past.
Slavery happened, absolutely, and there are some vestiges of it. How long are we going to go back there?
Virginia has been shaped by centuries of racial trauma, from slavery to redlining. Democrats have been talking more about those scars. Sears embodies a fiery Republican response to that.
Go find another victim. Stop it. That's what I say. And let's move on.
It's not Sears' first time making history.
Well, then cut the fucking check. $200 trillion in tangibles. Let's move the fuck on from that. Cut the goddamn check if you want to move on.
Everyone was shocked, of course, when she won.
Republican John Cosgrove was elected alongside Sears. He says Sears was an independent-minded conservative who got along with everyone.
She was never one to back down from a position that she had taken, and nobody expected her to.
Sears' legislative record doesn't have the same fire-breathing tone of her later campaign rhetoric. Many of the dozen or so bills she sponsored had bipartisan support, including a successful push to reform the state's medical board. In 2004, Sears ran for Congress and lost. She published a book called Stop Being a Christian Wimp and opened a home appliance business. Then, in 2012, she suffered a family tragedy. Her daughter and 2 grandchildren were killed in a car accident. When she got the proverbial knock on the door, Sears says a Bible verse came to mind.
It was, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And then I collapsed.
Sears reemerged on the political scene in 2018 when she staged a write-in campaign against Republican Corey Stewart, a U.S. Senate candidate who openly associated with white nationalists. In 2020, she considered a run for lieutenant governor and called up Andrew Leppert, a Republican campaign operative.
I told her this then. If you assess where Republicans and how Republicans were successful in 2020, it was veterans, minorities, or females. And Winsome Sears is all 3 of those things.
In the GOP nominating fight, Sears was a pro-Trump underdog who winked at false claims of 2020 election fraud. She became best known for a campaign photo showing her holding a military-style rifle. Leopard says that image helped win Sears the nomination.
If you've seen one of those signs in person, one of them looks like 3 and 6 looks like 15. So I think that we had going into election day.
In the general election, Sears and the GOP candidate for governor, Glenn Youngkin, leaned into racial themes. They claimed equity programs in schools were pitting students against each other.
It gave them a chance to harp on an issue that really does not exist.
Robbie Perry chairs the political science department at Howard University. He said Sears' own campaign is proof that the vestiges of slavery and discrimination are still alive in Virginia and are being weaponized politically.
The rhetoric is not only divisive, tiring, and exhaustive, it's also inaccurate.
Sears says she can help win over conservative Black voters to the GOP. But Lamont Bagby, a Democrat who leads Virginia's Black caucus, says it's not clear what Sears' policies are or how they will help Black voters.
Black folks aren't just voting for Democrats because they like the color blue. It's based upon the issue.
Sears has been quiet on one key issue. She won't say whether she's vaccinated against COVID-19. But she says her main focus in office will be education, adding school vouchers and creating charter schools. For Sears, education is the backbone of her optimism about the country's future.
America is progressing. She is. I'm proof.
Sears has 4 years to make that case to Virginia voters. For NPR News,
Wow.
I'm Ben Richmond.
And now, more from NPR.
Man, that shit is off of a damn Saturday morning cartoon show.
He said,
I mean, give me a damn break.
Give me a knife.
Okay, because anytime that you get into these brain dead motherfuckers, man, who's going to sit up there and talk about to forgive and forget some of the greatest atrocities of the world is insanity.
Right.
Now, if they want everybody to get over slavery, as you say, Brother Che, cut the fucking check.
Right.
$100 trillion in tangibles.
Right.
See, but once again, here they come with kumbaya. We shall overcome. Now, to prove my point, we got to go to a film that was made in the year 1957 called Band of Angels. And Sidney Poitier was in this movie.
Yeah.
And then if anybody ever saw the film made in the 1950s called The 10 Commandments, there was a woman in there who played Sephora. Her name was Yvonne DiCarlo. She also used to be on a television series called The Munsters in the mid-1960s.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard me mention this here before, Brother Che, about where her father had died. The bill collectors come there, you know, taxing his estate. And the estate is not so much the crib, but all of your property. Crib, cattle, chattel, land, inventory, agriculture. So Yvonne DiCarlo was captured or recaptured as a slave.
Yeah.
Because they had a document, well, you're a slave number. You know what I'm saying? And we putting your black ass up there on the auction block to get our money. Period.
Damn.
Understand? Now, this woman who just became lieutenant governor of Virginia, who is from Jamaica, or originally from Jamaica, which was a slave port, Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah.
Virginia, what is that there over there in Virginia? That was a slave port there too. Not Ellis Island, that's New York.
Norfolk.
Yeah, Norfolk. Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay, so, I mean, this is ludicrous to be of African descent, to sit up there and say, let's forget about one of the greatest atrocities against human beings in the history of the world. I mean, that's like telling a Jewish person to forget about the Holocaust.
Yep.
Right, man. This is just fucking crazy as shit I ever.
Hey, but you know the Holocaust really didn't happen because there's a book called the Black Sun 666. Check it out.
Okay.
It's called the Black Sun 666, and in that book, what they were talking about was that Hitler actually was trying to tell the Jews that they had in possession of the world, which was basically the African man, the Negro man, is how he put it. And he was trying to warn them to say that what's going on right now, as far as the Illuminati thing goes, that they was going to sit up there and try to make a one world government. Because there's another book called Hitler's Black Victims, which is another good book. And what they talking about in there is the fact that when they was talking about the 6 million Jews that got killed was a fabricated story. They said that if bodies was burning like that, it would have never made it like how they was talking about in that movie. They was showing how in this book they talk about how basically, just like I tell people, Israel was basically supposed to be the Kemet of white people. Because they was on the land of Levant. Like I tell these Hebrew Israelite brothers, I said, you can't call yourself an Israelite when Israel became a state in 1948. So if it became a state in 1948, that means it was the land of Levant. That means the Levantes, who are Palestinians, sat there and said, you're the synagogue of Satan because these white folks is fucking, they goddamn Satan. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm here to destroy them motherfuckers. And I'm going to do everything I can do that my ancestors had me to do. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that shit's coming. So, get ready for the parade. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to march through you motherfuckers, man, celebrating like a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrating like a bitch. Okay. Yeah. And it's funny that they always throw the Holocaust, but they don't tell the truth about the Holocaust. Because they sit up there and they talk like, what was the thing? Like they stole our knowledge and sold it back to us recycled.
Mm-hmm.
So now our people is believing, oh, Jesus is coming, Yeshua is coming. No, he's you.
Exactly.
It was the story of Heru.
God damn it.
Kensu. You know what I'm saying? He was you. You know what I'm saying? But it's the Zodiac. It's the whole thing. But you know what I'm saying? That's why they are getting fucked up with this COVID, which is the Spanish flu of 1919, which is the same flu that happened in Kansas City, 1919, which, by the way, the Kansas City Monarchs was the only black Negro team to win more fucking pennants than any sports teams in history. And they don't even talk about that.
And that there's where they had that black pitcher by the name of Satchel Paige.
Ooh-wee. And why they don't talk about this, brother? Because you know what? Because they know. You know what I'm saying? And now I just read, Brother Jesse, that you could put on your next show about why they mandating all the people in the schools and all that in Kansas City. But they in the playoffs now.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So if they don't win, what happens if they don't win? You have a half breed. I'm just gonna call him like that. He's mixed. His dad, he's technically black, but because he's got a white woman and he's got a white wife, and mom might be white, he's not gonna sit up there and be what we call a real melanated brother. He's gonna be that token nigga for them because they need some kind of way to get revenue.
Yeah.
For their city. That's why we got their bank here in Denver and their revenue. I'm sorry. Edibles kicking in.
Mahomes.
Yeah, talking about Patrick Mahomes.
Shout out to viewers. Make sure you check us out on frontlinecampaign.org and Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook. And check out Shabaka's Black Hands every Tuesday. We're going to move us to our next topic, which is Rihanna. These immigrants just don't know when to quit. So Rihanna, singer Rihanna, had the audacity to put up a picture of MLK with gold teeth.
Wow.
Did you say with gold teeth?
With gold teeth.
Wow. Now, if I
So
may
hold on, wait,
say
wait.
on,
Go ahead, brother. I'm
yes,
just
sir.
laughing at it.
Can y'all see the screen?
Go ahead. Hold on,
Okay.
let me see. Yeah,
Actually,
put
the
it up a little
screen is
bit.
frozen.
Oh no.
Yeah, the screen is frozen. Is frozen at 37 minutes 24 seconds.
I don't see it on my end.
Yeah, so that's Silicon Game Valley and they bullshit fucking with the algorithms again.
You might have to go out and come back in, Shabaka.
All right, okay, let me do that. Okay.
So Rihanna, this article from urbanislands.com says that Rihanna keeps controversial photo of Dr. King wearing grills amid backlash. So here's Rihanna. Okay, there's Shabaka. Got to bring him back in. All right, Shabaka, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Okay, now I see the timer at 56 minutes 19 seconds. Okay, so Rihanna. Okay, evidently, young woman, you probably don't know your history because you would not have made such a gesture. Because as you saw on my live feed, Brother Che, I was in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I see she's one of Hollywood's biggest whores now.
Yeah.
I hate to say. Okay. But anyway, I passed Dr. King's residence and I was appalled that there was no historical landmark to his boyhood home. Okay. And although I may not totally agree with Dr. King, but however, I do recognize his contribution to our story.
Right.
So once again, this is Hollywood with its bullshit. They probably put her up to do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Say, and this is what kills me about these brain dead Negroes who say they don't see color.
Yeah.
You could best believe color sees our black asses. And that's real talk.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see the screen, but this picture of MLK with a gold grill on his nose.
Horrible.
Wow.
Horrible. Make you want to just slap her in the mouth. Like, what's wrong with you? It's like, Jesus Christ, like, God has a horrible fucking representation of him.
Yeah, so the article goes on to say Rihanna keeps controversial photo on Twitter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wearing grills despite mounting backlash. Years after Dr. King's birthday, or excuse me, not years, days after Dr. King's birthday, angry fans called out Rihanna for a photo of the civil rights leader, which they say is disrespectful to his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Fans on Twitter have called out Rihanna for the display picture or photo on her Twitter account, which shows MLK wearing gold grills.
Damn.
Grills and
yeah.
And while smiling. While some have called out Rihanna for disrespecting late MLK, some felt that the look with grills iconic to Black culture.
Hell no.
Well, you see, I'm going to tell you something. Okay, that is a grave insult.
Yeah, it is.
To the memory of Dr. King. Mm-hmm. Also, too, that is a grave insult to the memory of Black people that suffered in the civil rights movement, in the Black empowerment era, on the plantation, during the Jim Crowism era or the Joe Biden Crowism era. And then to every Black man and woman that lost their lives on the plantation and the whole fucking diaspora.
Yep. Right. Yep, that's a complete slap in the face to foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slavery.
Yes, sir. The whole 9 yards on that one there, Brother Che. But like I've said on Shabaka's Black Experience, yeah, all you sisters want to go out there and go to Hollywood and be pimped and have all them dudes on you at the same time. So yeah, so what is to be expected?
Right. So on my birthday, January 16th, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day was celebrated in the United States and nationwide as they remembered the life and struggles for equality in the civil rights movement. Many have honored the late leader with photos, posts, and clips of his speeches. One particular thing drew the ear of MLK fans. Fans reacted to Brianna's tribute to Dr. King, where she changed the banner on her Twitter page to a Photoshop image of Dr. King smiling with gold grills in his mouth and diamond earrings in his ears.
Jesus.
Damn.
Yeah,
I mean, if she would have made that imagery of Malcolm, because we all knew that Malcolm was a pimp, hustler, burglar,
yep,
thug,
it is.
and one of the most dynamic figures of the Black Revolution. And also, too, Brother Che, you say your birthday is January the 16th?
Yes, sir.
Very interesting. The day after Dr. King's and the day before Muhammad Ali's.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a nice day, too.
And the same day as Aaliyah's.
Okay. So this here just goes to show of how this Hollywood place has really fucked up our people. And if I may say here, and you know how I feel, Brother Che, to all the chief executives down there of the Motion Picture Arts of Academy and Sciences, to all the executives and heads of Universal Studios, Warner Brothers, Miramax, Touchstone, Hollywood Pictures, 2 words that we say that we mean from the bottom of our hearts in which we are most sincere. Fuck you, motherfuckers.
We approve of the message.
That message. Always have, always will.
So MLK didn't wear gold teeth
At
and
all.
earrings. It's just
Right.
a foundational Black America. One person to one of her recent posts advertising Valentine's Day lingerie. There's Rihanna advertising. Probably weird.
Yeah, the sister whored out. Mm-hmm.
She looked mad uncomfortable. I'm just gonna say it like that. She looked mad uncomfortable. Carry on, gentlemen. Carry on.
Another posted and tagged her, "Hey, at Rihanna, could you change your banner? Doesn't show MLK in good taste." While another said, "This is disrespectful. Take it down. As a non-African American, you have no idea what this man meant to us. He gave his life for ours. Hashtag MLK, hashtag Martin Luther King Jr." It appears that it's only now the banner is being noticed as Rihanna has had that photo here for more than a month now. Very disappointed in Rihanna. However, mocking our icons, MLK, especially freedom fighter, is unacceptable and leads me to believe she's in bed with Lucy the GOAT. She's portraying like she's for Black, possible undercover lesbian who hates Black men. One person said, implying that Rihanna was anti-Black. Meanwhile,
That's a safe bet.
Meanwhile, the Barbadian-born singer received support from fans who felt the post was not that serious. Really?
It's definitely on the line of bedwinning.
Yeah, well, you see, that's the point that I make there in my narrative on that there, Brother Che, is that Hollywood tries to downplay the seriousness and the brutalization of the transatlantic slave trade, of the Jim Crow South, of segregation, And then to the derogatory shit that Hollywood itself has done to black people. I mean, look what LBJ did to Eartha Kitt.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this is why I appreciate Cicely Tyson. I'm not playing them horse ass roles.
Right.
Same thing with Ozzie Davis's wife, Ruby D. Not playing these horse ass roles. You see? Now, you women out there in Los Angeles up there getting fucked up off that dope, making all that porn and all that shit, that's your business. But just consider the image of what you are setting of us as a people when you do this shit. Just think about it. I mean, I'll never forget in 1974. Say what, bruh?
I said they ain't gonna do them no favor because they gonna sit up there and still try to do what they've been conditioned to do.
Yes, sir. And I'll never forget when I saw a talk show called The Mike Douglas Show in 1974 when Muhammad Ali was up there with Sly Stone. And Sly Stone is sitting up there wearing all that crazy shit. And Ali was up there trying to make the point that we need to build our own infrastructures. And Sly Stone, for all practical purposes, is going to sit there and try to say, well, we need to be all-inclusive. All-inclusive for what?
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All-inclusive for what? Even Michael Jackson. Well, I want my music to touch everybody. We're all the same. Motherfucker, please. Don't you know that our music, Black family,
that's funny,
is our spirituality?
Right.
And then the sad part about it is that these other groups can't relate to our spirituality through our music because it's not in us. You see what I'm saying? You know, when you listen to the rhythm and the blues, okay, the rhythm is the pulse of nature. Right. Everything in nature, now I learned this here from Sister Bianca, okay? Everything in nature goes through a cycle.
Yep.
You see what I mean? Same thing with the beats on music. You see what I'm saying? That's why when you listen to some music, it puts you in a cool mood. That's why you listen to some music, it puts you in a proud mood, such as Aretha Franklin's Respect, such as James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, such as the Dramatics, What You See Is What You Get.
What you see
is what you get. Hey, people try to bring you down and shame your name.
Yeah. So I got like two more, like a paragraph and a half left to read of this article.
Yes, sir.
So they mad at Rihanna for using a photo of MLK with edits goals. Baby, he from the South. Best believe if he lived long enough, somebody's favorite rapper would have gifted him some of the culture, once said. What?
Wait. Who said that?
Somebody stupid.
Who said that?
Somebody that commented on Rihanna's Twitter page. Wait.
Really?
People are legitimately mad at Rihanna/MLK Photoshop of him with a grill. Like, that's what they're mad about or mad at. An image of Dr. King, a black man, Photoshop rocking a grill, something that is culturally relevant and ultimately ultra black.
First of all,
to the region he's from.
So hey, did the nationalists did they shoot at her? That was like, that's something to be shot at. You know what I'm saying? That was the dumbest fucking response.
They're not fashionable at all right now.
I'm like, did somebody like shoot at her? You know what I'm saying? Like my nieces and my nephews or none would never say no shit like that. Like, are you fucking? It's probably a baby raised by a baby.
It's probably one of these babies.
Yeah. Yeah, brother, you right about that. Probably a baby raised by a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cause I'm like, dude, Martin Luther King for real, Dr. Martin Luther King. Like, come on. I'm like, this
Yeah.
dude, nah.
Never
I'm
found
like,
fear at
You
all.
know, I never forget when I met Rosa Parks when I was 21 years old, right? The
man, that's
woman,
fucking dope.
yeah, and she weighed no more than 110 pounds wringing wet. But when she refused to give up her seat in Montgomery in 1955, and a young pastor at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference with Ralph Abernathy, Martin Luther King, and I'm trying to remember the third brother. It wasn't Andrew Young and it wasn't Wyatt T. Walker. I think it was Brother Hosea Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so y'all might want to check the archives on that. And what they did is that they said, we ain't riding this goddamn bus. We getting ready to break these motherfuckers. And whatever you do, walk to work, get a skateboard, a scooter, a fucking pair of roller skates, but do not ride the bus. And they broke them tricks.
Yeah, but see, Rihanna don't know this history. Rihanna's
Now that's my point, brother Che. Now, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, because that goes to show the dumbing down of our youth through this miseducational system.
right.
Say, now, the ones who you gotta thank for that are these goddamn Yasa bosses. Oh, I don't see color. Oh, we all the same. We all bleed red. See, an individual like that is dangerous. And I'm going to tell you why it's dangerous. Look at it the same way as that when Sister Harriet was running Underground Railroad and she had that double barrel 12 gauge with her and big buff ass Negroes, 6'5", 285 pounds strong as an ox. Oh no, you know, Harry, we can't leave. We got to get back to Massey. He's been so good to us. And as you know, Brother Che, she would take that damn street sweeper, she would cock that motherfucker, and she would simply say, look, fool, check this out. You either gonna come on this train ride or you're dead, and you got like about 3 seconds to make up your fucking mind.
Right.
And I bet you, there was a whole lot of trees that she had to decorate with these clowns' brains. That mental shackle. Say, that's the sad part about it. Like the lieutenant governor of Virginia. Well, let's get past racism, this, that, the other. You never address the fucking issue.
Right.
Cut the fucking check. $100 trillion intangibles.
Right. So this article goes on to end like this. Niggas throw do-rags on MLK and put it on t-shirts. And all the time, but Rihanna can't put MLK grills in his mouth as her header. Them pro-black.
That's all started from oh, go ahead.
Them pro-black niggas. I guess that's addressing us because we're pro-black. Them pro-black niggas.
Wow.
Whoever wrote this can't even spell right.
Hey man, we need to burn. We need to burn down that fucking Boondocks. Boondocks is the start of all that shit. It was Boondocks. It was Boondocks, man. Boondocks is what got them all fucked up.
I got said not picking and choosing issues. Laugh out loud. Another person on Twitter said Rihanna has not responded to the comments.
Man, and what did you say, Brother Chain? You said this motherfucker can't even spell, huh?
Yeah. You see how I was reading that? I was having a hard time reading it because it didn't make no damn sense.
Well, tell them clowns over there.
Babies.
Hey, and tell those clowns over there on the corner of 10th and Market Street in San Francisco, California, you know what I'm saying, where the Tweety Bird is, is that y'all need to clean up y'all's act because y'all are sitting out here propagating this bullshit. It's ludicrous enough that this woman is going to make this statement about Dr. King. But what is even more ludicrous is that these bastards are going to publish this shit.
Yeah. And there's people actually co-signing it and in agreement with it, which I think they're all immigrants. I think if you are a foundational Black American descendant of slavery, you are appalled by this display from Rihanna.
Oh, very much so.
Mad appalled. You have to be. I mean, fuck, like
very much so.
This is what it doesn't even make sense even when you think about it.
So I got to move us to our next topic because we kind of running on time right now.
Yes.
The next is drum roll. Biden's been in office for a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Where the hell are tangibles?
Now, I'm going to tell you something, Brother Jay. Brother Sharif came up there today with his live feed, right? And Brother Sharif said, if you could tell me one goddamn thing that Biden has did for Black people, I will give you $20.
Yeah.
Then he says, fuck it, I'll make it $40. Then he said, fuck it, I'll make it $60.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Then he pushed it to 80.
Mm-hmm.
Then he pushed it to 100.
Yep.
He says, if anybody can go out there and tell me one goddamn thing that Biden has did for Black people his whole year in office, he said that he will cash app you the money. He would bring it to you personally. Don't that sound a little familiar to something?
Yes.
Yes. Our brother right
We
there.
still waiting on it.
Did they throw in? Did he also throw in about what Kamala Harris did for Black people, being the first Black vice president? Who has been absent in the whole fucking thing? Who hasn't did shit? I mean, I would have been like, shit, I'll give you $1,000 right now if you can give it to me about Kamala Harris and how she done helped out Black females and any woman of color on how to do something like Michelle Obama. That bitch looking older than shit. That raggedy ass fucking please.
Sir, it's all good. The only Black DNA that you have in Kamala Harris is from Willie Brown, the former mayor of San Francisco.
That's funny.
And Madam Vice President, you ain't did shit for Black people in the United States, let alone in the goddamn state of California, let alone in the goddamn city and county of San Francisco. What the fuck did she do for Mario Woods, who was murdered by the San Francisco Police Department where they put 25 bullets in him?
Zero.
Nothing.
Precisely my point.
And you know what? Go ahead, Jesse. My bad, brother.
I gotta real quick. So it says, this is from Washington Post. Again, fair use for education and commentary purposes. Biden vowed to do more for Black Americans. Some say it's already too late. I wonder who them some are. There's Biden. There's Sleepy Joe.
Wow.
And it says, as he enters second year in office, President Biden said he would make a stronger push for voting rights, more travel, more vitriol, and more making the case for what happens if voters continue to support Democrats.
Once again, they pissing on our heads.
For COVID.
And once again, they pissing on our heads and telling us it's rain.
But
oh my gosh.
I mean, man, the motherfuckers are sitting up here defecating on us, telling us it's snow.
No shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Sir, this is an absolute direct insult to our goddamn intelligence.
He told us on Tuesday during a 1 year address that the reason why he hasn't done anything for Black people is because of COVID.
Because of COVID. I got a question. How much dope does Sleepy Joe smoke?
Apparently, he's smoking the best.
How much dope does Sleepy Joe slam? Now, is this motherfucker on fentanyl? Is he on crack? Is he on sherm? A combination of it? Or is he over there with Dr. Ben Carson prescribing medications for themselves?
Tranquilized and out to lunch. That's it. He's gone.
Oh, man. Man. When I look at shit like this, people, I got to laugh to keep from crying.
That's what I'm talking about.
Really?
So the article goes on to say, but for many Black Americans who energetic campaigning and votes helped propel Biden to the White House, Democratic majorities in both the House and the Senate, both houses of Congress, and the president's impassioned vow this week came too late. They are frustrated by his inaction on issues of equity.
Finally?
And see a familiar carousel, a politician who promises to amplify Black voices and issues before Election Day, followed by maddening silence and inaction afterward.
Oh, you're finally frustrated.
The agenda that he ran on and got so many of us to go, who the hell is us? I didn't go out and vote for that motherfucker.
Hell no, neither did I.
But it says so many of us to go with him on like police reform and criminal justice reform and voting rights. They gave up on it, said Fletcher Smith, a former South Carolina state legislator and one of a group of informal and mostly Black Biden advisors who call themselves the Bidenites.
The Bidenites.
That's the Bidenites.
Oh, man. Now here we go. Lord.
You're Biden.
You want to know something, people? I mean, every Black man and woman and every person over the age of 18 years old who went out and vote, you've been had. You've been hoodwinked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You've been downright bamboozled. I mean, they have the goddamn audacity to come up here with this redundant and ludicrous shit and have the audacity to sit up there and say that we need to go out here and vote for these motherfuckers for another 4 years. Here's what I say. Now, this is just me, Shabaka Sankori. I ain't shit, you know what I'm saying? But we got to pool our resources, Black family. We got to start growing our own food, acquiring the factors of production, which is land, labor, capital, and risk management. Because when we sit up here and wait on tricks like Obama and this clown right here and Kamala, they leading us straight down the toilet, and we have our own selves to blame for that, for going for this ludicrous bullshit.
Facts. So Smith said Biden's tone been different the past couple of weeks, but he's not convinced the results will be. He's not going to govern. Smith predicted of the president. It's not going to go out in the nation and campaign and raise money for Democratic candidates in their congressional seats. These congressional seats. Oh shit. Off my spot. Give me 1 second, Black family.
Yes, sir. And in the meantime, man, I just gotta
But
put
y'all
it
know
more out
something?
there, brother. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
But you know what's funny about this whole story is that Biden know that his time is up.
Yep.
And it's funny because Trump still has an extra term. Now, I'm gonna take y'all back on memory lane. The Simpsons.
Yep.
Everything that is on cartoons and mythology, they tell the truth about history, about their own story, his story, and not our story. There was a episode where Trump was in a coffin.
Yeah, I remember
when
that.
he first ran, I said, man, that had no idea. I said, that's gonna happen now. Because when he become president in 2024, who's gonna be his vice president? And on top of that, that's gonna be the end to all white supremacy and capitalism. Then we're gonna move to the galactic alignment that's getting ready to happen when Series A comes into B. And when black people really gonna see a change. None of them motherfuckers know that because they don't have a soul. You know, they hearts don't. So they can't never get into no kind of what they call heaven. Because the true story is we are the creators of ourselves. That's why we are gods through God. You see what I'm saying? But fucking Biden looks scary. He looks like a scary movie. I mean, they should just come out with a movie called Biden. His eyes, he looks demonized. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know, man. He's fucked up, man. You know.
Yeah, he really is.
Like motherfuckers work. He's scary looking. Look at his eyes, man. You can't see shit. He looks alien. He looks cloned.
Yeah.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him. You know, I didn't vote for him. He's fucked up, man. He's so fucked up,
really?
man. I don't even think Freddie Krueger will fuck with him. He's fucked.
Shit, damn.
If y'all really look at him, he looks fucked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, shit. I was like, okay, so who the fuck is Biden? I was like, man, Biden, are you fucking Kamala? Is that what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Because neither one of y'all look like y'all can get up.
Well, check this out, bruh. Now, when Kamala Harris was younger, right? Willie Brown was fucking her, and he was 60, and she was 30. Okay? And I remember that Barack Obama said that Kamala Harris is the most beautiful attorney general out of all 50 attorney generals out of all 50 states, right? And the way Obama was looking.
Look at that. I know you been digging it.
Hey, bruh. And the way Obama was looking, it looked like that he had tossed up Michelle and Kamala at the same time.
Hey, you know what? Hey, why not? Because Bill Clinton already had. Well, look, Bill Clinton already had cum on his pants from somebody. I didn't do it. I didn't have sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky. Oh, okay, yeah, but you don't smoke weed either, right? Okay, yeah, but you play the saxophone.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here, you hillbilly ass motherfucker.
Yeah, and then the motherfucker gonna say, well, I puffed, but I did not inhale. Well, motherfucker, if you didn't inhale, why'd you puff the shit?
And on top of that, man, it had to been some bomb because you gonna puff that shit as soon as you hit it. You know, so it's gonna, man, he's so full of shit. White people.
And plus that he was a saxophone player too. Jazz circuit.
No, you gaslighting. You know he's lying.
Look,
you know what I'm saying?
I want to see the black women. I want to see the black women he was fucking like Thomas Jefferson. I want to see the real Clintons. Because, you know, I was like, okay, George Clinton is black.
Yeah.
Come on, Bill. What gene you coming from? You know what I'm saying? You found out your ancestors. I could be a black man. I got to go fuck. I can't let Hillary know. Right. So y'all want to go and colonize fucking Haiti.
Holy
You know,
fucked up people, man. They're fucked up.
Raps. Clinton has a black son that he keeps under wraps.
For real, for real.
For real, for real.
Interesting.
You talking about Clinton? You talking
Yeah.
about Clinton, right?
Yeah, he has a black
Yeah,
son.
I think I heard some of. Yep, I think I heard about that. I think I did. Man, Clinton, dude, look, when Haiti, they got like any money that comes through Haiti goes to the fucking Clinton Foundation.
Yeah.
Haiti do not get no money, so I wouldn't be surprised, man. Look, he saw some ass. He said, man, Hillary don't got that. You know what I'm saying? She white, man. I mean, shit, man. That's why I love my Spanish women. I love my freaking native. All that's got melanin, because they have what they got to get liposuction and all this.
Hey, bruh, there's a place in Los Angeles called Fredericks of Hollywood. There's a place in Los Angeles called Fredericks of Hollywood where all the movie star brides go get fake asses, fake breasts, implants. Goddamn plastic surgeons of Beverly Hills be making a mint off these fools. That's probably where Ben Carson gets his meds from. Man, Ben Carson on dope, man. And just like Brother Jay, that what we had commented on, where Ben Carson got up there and made that asinine ass statements. Well, you know, the slaves who came here, that they were immigrants looking for the American dream to work hard. Excuse the expression, black family. Nigga, please.
All right, y'all. I gotta keep reading the article real quick.
This shit is crazy.
Smith said Biden's tone has been different the past couple of weeks, but he's not convinced the results are in. He's not going to govern, Smith predicted of the president. He's just going to go out. He's just going to go out in the nation and campaign and raise money for Democratic candidates in congressional seats. Smith and many other black supporters, the Bidenites, Biden's concession that he had not been out in the community nearly enough was an admission that he had failed to connect and to deliver for one side of the Democratic Party's most loyal constituencies. I wonder who that is. The first anniversary of Biden's presidency represents an inflection point, with some black voters aware of their political capital, but worried that it may have been squandered by trusting Biden to renew voting rights legislation for which has stalled in a narrowly divided Senate and other priorities.
Well, he's getting ready to lose the Senate and he's getting ready to lose the House.
Yeah.
In 2022.
Yeah.
And to quote Brother Ali, I got $20 saying, I ain't got it right this minute, but I will have it. Let me say that point right there. I will have it. Saying that the Democrats are going to lose both the Senate and the House. Ooh. They're going to lose total control of the Congress.
Ooh.
Because this senile, raggedy ass motherfucker man don't know shit from Shinola. I mean, the motherfucker senile. He's old as fuck. He's incompetent. I mean, I hate to say this, black family. I really do. But I'd much rather see that brain dead motherfucker Ben Carson, who prescribes his own meds on dope, be the president of the United States than this lousy fuck you got up here right now. Because at least we know that Ben Carson is on his own meds. He's on dope. He's a dope fiend. He can write his own prescriptions. Great, beautiful. Now we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But hiding Biden, coming up here with this shit. And just like how we said about John Lewis' brother Che,
Oh my God.
more worried about an alphabetized agenda.
Yeah.
Oh my
Talking
God.
about how it felt so good to get his head smashed at the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Yep.
And once again, I mean, what do seriously, now putting all bullshit aside now, seriously, what do the families feel of those who lost loved ones during the civil rights struggle?
Mm.
I mean, how would those feel who gave up their lives for civil rights? For some dude to dress up in women's clothes and say that he is a woman?
Ooh,
To have the... And then, dude, let me say this here. I got to be politically correct, Brother Che, because then we get suspended one time for this one. And the person...
30.
And the person formerly known as Bruce Jenner.
yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, just like brother was saying, yeah, we definitely need some intergalactic intervention on these motherfuckers you got down here. And that is for real.
Nice.
But keep in mind, though, Black family, is that our ancestors had used the stars and the constellations to navigate across the continent and to navigate across, the oceans.
Yep.
And when you sit up there and look at these constellations, rather if you're in Denver, rather if you're in Los Angeles, rather if you're in Montana, all that is mathematics.
Yep.
And life is cyclical.
Transgendering, okay? Let's just put it that way. Now look at the constellations and see any of them transgender.
Wow.
I do not see any of that.
You don't see them
all the
transforming?
constellations are feminine and masculine. It's just one or the other.
You don't see them transforming?
I'm serious. You don't see fucking Apollo fucking acting like a bitch up there.
Oh my God.
Real shit. So where is this okay? We're looking at the stars, right? Fuck, man, hell nah. This is a motherfucking weird dresses and fucking shooting stars and shit.
Oh God.
Come on now.
I mean,
I gotta finish reading the article, y'all.
Damn.
At his news conference Wednesday, Biden conceded that the coronavirus pandemic and other priorities in Washington have prevented him from doing the things that I've always been able to do pretty well. Connect with people, let them take a measure of my seniority. I can't speak right now.
Seniority?
No, sincerity.
Oh, okay.
Let them take a measure of who I am.
Man, we already took a measurement of that motherfucker back in the 1990s when he pushed that federal crime bill that led to massive incarceration of our people through the drug pandemic that went through the Black community.
Yeah, exactly. He leaves himself open for this type of foolery. For us to talk shit.
There he is right there, Sleepy Joe.
Look at all.
And do let me say this here about Sleepy Joe. One thing I will say about Trump, we all know Trump is an asshole, but he told you how he really felt.
Right.
And Sleepy Joe, now, when you look at suits worn by Trump, they're nicely cut, great materials.
Yep.
These goddamn suits that Sleepy Joe wear look like he stole these motherfuckers out the goddamn Goodwill store.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. That's what I just said. I'm like, he looking mad bloated right there. Look like he pushes that suit to the max.
I mean, he's looking like a goddamn homeless motherfucker out there that's got the damn suit on, too small or too large. Just like how when you see a motherfucker going to court and he's wearing a suit before the judge, the damn pants is too long and the fucking sleeves is covering his hands. I mean, goddamn, how many courts have you been in where you see the motherfucking defendant in there trying to look sharp, and the suit, the tie, and the shoes none of that shit fits. Look like he stole that shit. That's how Sleepy Joe looks.
There he is on the screen, Black family. Sleepy Joe.
He stole it.
Oh my God. But many advocates who protested systematic racism in 2020 and later mobilized voters during the global pandemic to help elect Democrats say the problem wasn't Biden's words, but his lack of action. According to Ashley Woodard Henderson, a Movement for Black Lives spokeswoman.
Man, let me tell you something, bruh. These Negroes that you got out here today are pathetic.
Bite nights. What the fuck is a bite night, cuz?
Probably some motherfucker sitting up there looking at Twitter and YouTube all goddamn night long.
I posted that on my Facebook right now. I swear to God I did. I'm like, what is a bite night, cuz? That is just what I want.
The motherfucker who is sitting up there looking at Biden on Twitter and social media.
So you got the Trumpsters and you got the Biden nights.
Biden nights.
Lord have mercy. Boy, and I am so glad that the next time that I go to a polling place and vote, it's going to be for Jesse Perez, mayor of Denver, Colorado, 2023, and fuck all the other offices and fuck all the other politicians. Like Cancun and fat fucking L.A. Ridley Thomas with his Hitler-looking ass, Sleepy Joe, Kamala, the recently elected Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Oh, you motherfuckers can go straight to hell. Oh, and by the way, and Brother Chan, we got to mention Kimberly Daniels was her name?
Yeah, that's the one that said if it wasn't for slavery, she would be in Africa worshiping the tree.
Oh my God.
And a tree is to be worshipped. It's because when I look out here and see all these trees burned down, man, here in the West, you need the trees and the plant life, man, for oxygen.
Right. Right.
They want us to live.
So a tree is to be worshipped because he's the motherfucker that is keeping your ass breathing. And when I say you, I'm speaking on a collective term, you know, nobody in particular.
Yeah.
Because the trees and the foliage and the plant life inhale carbon dioxide and kick off oxygen. Right? But when you get these scam artists like Fauci, these other doctors who's pushing this vaccine shit.
Somebody threatened his life, Shabaka. Somebody threatened his life. Somebody threatened Fauci's life.
Man, Fauci is a threat to all our lives. and so that raggedy motherfucker Bill Gates. Like I said, on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, all you space cowboys, Bezos, asshole who owns Virgin phones, Elon Musk, y'all get in the spaceship, fly that motherfucker directly to the sun, and do humanity a favor.
Yes, sir.
And you just might save the goddamn planet.
Okay, I'm not gonna be able to finish this article.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move this along, gentlemen. It's already 2 hours in.
Yeah, the bottom
line.
line.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We still waiting on you Bitenites to call it.
Yeah, the bite nights. And once again, for you bite nights, the number to call is 516-418-5996. You could Google us. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Frontline Black News.
Yes.
Jesse Paris for Mayor 2023.
Yes, sir.
Call in.
And we're still waiting to hear from you motherfuckers. Now, we understand you're humiliated. And by the way, to that young woman that told me on Facebook, when I posted up on Facebook of this flag that I saw that said, fuck Biden and fuck you all for voting for him, this young woman's going to say to me, Shabaka, I voted for Biden and fuck you. Great, beautiful. Love it.
That was on Sharice's page.
That was tight. I can't believe she said.
Now, she said, Shabaka Sankori, I voted for Joe Biden and fuck you, Shabaka. Okay. Never apologize for how you honestly feel. Yeah, sure. I ain't mad at young woman. And I says, ma'am, please keep your cards and letters coming.
Exactly. Thank you.
Now, and if I just want to just interact here, Brother Che, for 1 second here, about 10 seconds, because we already crumb bombed on this trick. What's his name? The new mayor of New York, Eric Adams.
Yep, Eric Adams. Yeah.
Fuck him too.
And this motherfucker's up here saying, let illegal immigrants give them the right to vote.
Yep, that's what we talked about on the last show.
Yes, that's what we talked about.
Oh, man.
I heard they're trying to pass it in California, too.
Sir, California will probably be the first group of motherfuckers to pass that shit.
Right, yeah.
They can vote in local elections.
Oh, man.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I can see a whole lot of them sorry-ass politicians in California going for that shit.
Take that border down. They might as well just do that and then put it back in fucking 2 years.
So,
ma'am.
A less hilarious topic is Jay-Z and Meek Mill team up to block rap lyrics from being used in court. The rap superstars, along with Fat Joe, Big Sean, Yo Gotti, Kelly Rowland, Killer Mike, Robin Thicke, and others, urged New York lawmakers to pass the proposed bill, Rap Music on Trial.
Whoa.
And there's Jay-Z with his crazy ass hair.
I mean, Jay-Z got a whole wife and he got money. I don't understand why his hair look like that. I mean, I understand locks and shit, but what the fuck is this one piece doing over here? And look at his face too. Like, come on, man, you could have did something better with this. He just had one piece sticking way out over here.
This is a picture of him at the screening of A Harder Day Fall on Wednesday, October 13th, 2021 at the Shrine in Los Angeles.
The Shrine Auditorium? Hold it. Is that the Shrine Auditorium?
Yes.
That motherfucker sits right in the heart of South Central LA, right across the street from USC.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They used to host the Grammy Awards there all the time.
Yep. Yeah, so Jay-Z is leading a list of music industry titans, throwing their support behind a proposed New York state law that aims to stop prosecutors from using rap lyrics as purported blueprints to alleged crimes. Rolling Stone has learned. This is from Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone magazine. Boy, they had everybody in that magazine.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, Rolling Stone had everybody in their magazine because they were real popular in the late 60s and early 70s, I think.
Yeah. So the rap superstar born Sean Carter is teaming up with Meek Mill, Big Sean, Fat Joe, Kelly Rowland, Yo Gotti, Killer Mike, and Robin Thicke, and others as celebrity signatures on the new letter urging state lawmakers and ultimately Governor Kathy Hochul, or how do you say her name? Hochul?
What state is this in?
New York.
Oh, okay.
Hochul. To make the recently proposed bill titled Rap Music on Trial a state law.
Mm-hmm.
The legislation first unveiled in November successfully sailed through the state codes, Senate Codes Committee on Tuesday, making its first step toward becoming a full vote on the Senate floor.
Man,
An
bruh.
issue that's important to Jay-Z and all other artists that have come together to try to bring about this change. This is a long time in New York. If he can lend his name and his weight, uh, that's what he wants to do. Jay-Z's lawyer, Sparrow, a partner of Quinn Emanuel Hart and Sullivan, tells Rolling Stone. Sparrow co-wrote the letter with University of Richmond professor Eric Nielsen, who authored the book Rap on Trial, with University of Virginia law professor Andrea Dennis. The lawyer said he and Hova, who previously fought back against the lack of racial diversity on arbitration panels leading to national reform, consider the proposed legislation a bellwether that can spread to other states. By changing the law here, you do a good for the cases that it affects, but you also send a message that progress is coming. We expect it to be followed. It will be followed in a lot of cases. Spiros. Our lyrics are a creative form of self-expression and entertainment, just like any other genre. We want our words to be recognized as art rather than being weaponized to get convictions in court. I hope the governor and other lawmakers in New York take our letter into consideration, protect our artistic rights, and make the right decision, pass the bill. That Joe told Rolling Stone on Tuesday. This reform is urgently needed. The new letter from Spiro and Nelson, or Nelson, no, Nelson, yeah, it has to be Nelson, signed by the influential artist reads, rather than acknowledge rap music as a form of artistic expression, police and prosecutors argue that the lyrics should be interpreted literally. In the words of one prosecutor, as autobiographical journals. Wow. Even though the genre is,
Oh, that's ludicrous.
yeah, although the genre is rooted in a long tradition of storytelling that privileges figurative speech, speaks cleverly, and employs all of the same poetic devices we find in more traditional works of poetry. The new legislation from Senator Brad Hollyman, I think that's how you say it, Howman, Hoylman, Democrat of Manhattan, Senator Jamal Bailey, Democrat of the Bronx, and Assembly Member Kalina Cruz, Democrat from the Queens, um, would amend state law to limit the admissibility of a defendant's music and other creative expression as evidence shown to a jury. According to the draft legislation, the bill would set a high bar, compelling propelling compelling prosecutors to provide clear and convincing evidence that a defendant's creative expression, such as a rap song, is literal rather than figurative or fictional. That's bullshit.
Totally. No, that is total bullshit. There's gonna be a whole lot of cats getting railroaded on that.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah, I
humbling.
already see where they. Go ahead. I'm sorry, brother Che. Go ahead.
It's humbling to have the who's who of hip hop supporting this legislation. I think it points to how important it is at this moment to protect freedom of expression. Howman told Rolling Stone on Twitter. He previously pointed out that no one believes Johnny Cash shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, or that David Brine, I don't, as a psycho, but over and over, rap musicians involved in criminal cases face the prospect or reality of having their lyrics used against them in front of criminal juries.
Bruh. That shit is ludicrous, and the U.S. Supreme Court need to step in on that.
Yeah.
Is because, as you know, brother Che, is that you get a lot of these rappers, man, who sit up there, you know, with their artwork or their creativity skills, do this here, man, because that's how they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the genre of the music, you know, as you had pointed out right there.
Right. So before,
you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that there is like prosecuting James Brown simply because he said, "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud."
Yeah, it's clearly infringing on freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and
Right.
they're using your words against you. Like they say, whatever you say could be used against you in the court of law. When they supposedly read you your Miranda rights.
Oh yeah.
Same thing applies here. They're literally taking these lyrics to be literal.
Yeah.
Man. Only thing I could say, bruh, that is some asinine shit right there. Just like giving these people who are non-citizens the right to vote.
Right.
The shit is ludicrous, man.
Yeah, so before his senseless murder last month, Los Angeles rapper Draco the Ruler was subjected to be one of the most egregious cases where lyrics were used to bolster a prosecutor's theory of culpability. Draco, born Daryl Caldwell, was ultimately acquitted in a 2016 murder of a 24-year-old man outside a party in Carson, California. But he still spent 3 years in prison as prosecutors tried in vain to build their failed case against him. Although investigators argued from the start that he didn't pull the trigger, they relentlessly targeted him with the theory the fatal shooting stemmed from his beef with the rapper RJ, born Rodney Brown. During Caldwell's trial in Compton, California, prosecutors introduced the lyrics from his 2016 song Flex Freestyle to convince jurors. He brought armed associates to the Carson party to target RJ. I'm riding around town with a Tommy gun and a Jag, and you can disregard the yelling. RJ tied up in the back, the lyrics state. Meanwhile, RJ wasn't even at the party.
Oh my God.
I didn't even think they could do that, Caldwell told Rolling Stone during a phone interview in November. I heard about them doing this before, but It was just the way they were doing it. How were they using it against me? It doesn't make no sense. It was just crazy. In a statement, Senator Bailey said the new bill will prohibit this type of practice in New York because prosecutors will be required to show a strong factual nexus between the art and the facts of the case instead of using creative expression to create a theory. Presuming a defendant's guilt based solely on musical genre or creative expression is anti-theoretical to our foundational rights and perpetuates the systematic racism that is embedded in the criminal justice system through the discriminatory conflations, conflations of hip hop and rap with criminality, Bailey said in a statement Tuesday. That's the
Only in Los Angeles County where they come up with some bullshit like that.
But this is out of New York, though. But they were trying to use somebody's lyrics in L.A. to justify their death.
Damn. So that's New York, okay. Wow.
So we got two more stories involving the criminal justice system. The first one is Sedgwick County releases video of struggle that led to teen Cedric Lofton's death. As I wrote,
was that?
Cedric Lofton was killed in a Kansas jail. Okay, I'm going to play the video. Fair use, YouTube, for education and commentary purposes. It's a long video. I'm not watching this whole video. This video is like an hour long. So, this is the video of the jail. Cedric is right here where the mouse is. We don't have time to play this whole video, so I'm just going to read the article. Cedric County released surveillance video tied to the death of 17-year-old Cedric Lofton on Friday afternoon, showing the Black teen's physical struggle with juvenile detention staff in Wichita last year. But the video, which has no audio, leaves open questions about the teen's death. The view inside the juvenile intake and assessment center cell where Lofton was detained is particularly obscured by a doorway. 4 detention officers pinned Lofton face down to a concrete cell for approximately 35 minutes before they realized he was not breathing and did not have a pulse. It's unclear exactly when he lost consciousness. The county's employees told investigators that he continued to resist for more than 20 minutes, while Cedric County District Attorney Mark Bennett said allowed them to continue restraining him under state law. This sounds like state station murder to me, Black family. After release of the video, Sedgwick County website crashed. Oh, isn't that something? Their website.
How convenient.
Making the video inaccessible. Below are screenshots captured by the Eagle reporter before the website or web page crashed, showing how the situation escalated. So there's a picture of them detaining him against the wall. And after a verbal exchange in the lobby at the JIAC facility, 2 JIAC employees cornered Lofton and made physical contact in an attempt to escort him into a cell. And this is a picture of them attempting to escort him to a cell. Lofton began resisting attempts to place him in the cell. As you can see, he's fighting back against them. At one point, he was able to break loose of a hold and punched one of the juvenile detention employees in the face. There's still a picture of them fighting with Lofton. Detention workers eventually got him to the doorway of the cell where he continued to resist. They eventually wrestled him into the cell. Two more JIAC employees responded to a call for assistance. The four employees held Lofton in a prone position for nearly 35 minutes. The video inside the juvenile detention facility can be found here when access to the site is restored. www. Sedgwick Communications Media Room, September 24th. Video archive. Some footage and language may be disturbing to viewers. Approximately 35 minutes into the struggle, JIAC staff placed Lofton in handcuffs. 5 minutes later, they found he did not have a pulse. Bennett declined Tuesday to file criminal charges against anyone involved in Lofton's death, citing a stand your ground self-defense law passed by the Kansas legislature in 2010. Central to the decision were statements made by detention staff to investigators. They said Lofton continued to resist their physical restraints and gave no verbal indication that he had any trouble breathing, according to a written explanation released by Bennett on Tuesday. JIAC and juvenile detention facility workers were interviewed by investigators from the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. The adults all report that Sedgwick never complained of a diminished ability to breathe, and instead continued to make statements that led them to believe that he was under the influence of drugs or having a mental health crisis, Bennett wrote. The adults report that no one put their full weight on Sedgwick as he lay prone. The video shows the adults appear to kneel and lay down next to Sedgwick. Sedgwick County Sheriff Jeff Easter initially said, "There is information that we have that Mr. Lofton had ingested some illegal narcotics prior to the 911 call. An autopsy later found that Lofton had no drugs in the system, aside from marijuana, which can stay in the body for several weeks after use. The medical examiner found drugs did not contribute to his death." Bennett said the combination of a lengthy physical struggle and being in a prone position during the struggle caused Lofton's death. Throughout the struggle, there's no evidence that the workers discerned anything from Sedgwick, physically or verbally, to indicate Sedgwick was in physical distress or duress. Distress, yeah. Bennett wrote in a written explanation of his decision, "There is no evidence to suggest that these individuals knew the damage that was being caused to Sedgwick's system as they restrained him to the floor," Bennett wrote. One might reasonably ask, why didn't one of these people make the decision to simply let him go or let him up, instead of holding him down for so long just to keep him from hurting one of them or himself, he continued. But the law dictates that they are judged by their actions, not on choices not made. Instead of placing Lofton in handcuffs, the county employees restrained him by holding down his arms and legs. Bennett said they didn't place him in handcuffs until 35 minutes into the struggle. It's unclear exactly when he lost consciousness. 5 minutes after placing him in cuffs, detention staff found he had no pulse. Lofton remained without a pulse for at least 25 minutes, according to a timeline released by Bennett. Sedgwick County EMTs or EMS what is this word? I don't know what this word is.
How's it spelled?
It's RESUC or SUS, excuse me, CITATED.
Resuscitated.
Is it resuscitated?
I think it's resuscitated.
Okay. So EMS resuscitated him, and he died in the hospital 2 days later.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds like a case of foul play to me.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who did that there to him, them sons of bitches need to be arrested for murder.
Right. I concur. Is Christian Motter still with us? No, we lost him. Okay, so the third to last topic is lawsuit over ivermectin prescription to inmates at Arkansas jail explains. So there's 4 prisoners at an Arkansas jail in Washington County that are suing the jail for giving them I can't pronounce it. It begins with an I.
Ivermectin.
Yeah, ivermectin, which is used for horses, and also Trump said was a cure or a remedy for COVID-19.
Damn.
So here we go, Black family. Again, the American Civil Liberties. The American Civil Liberties Union of Arkansas, this is from ArkansasOnline.com.
That explains it right there.
Filed a federal lawsuit this month against the Washington County Jail. Sheriff Tim Helder, and Dr. Robert Karras.
How's it spelled?
Karas. Karras for giving inmates ivermectin. How do you say it again, Sebastian?
Ivermectin?
Yeah. Ivermectin. Ivermectin, is it ivermectin?
Okay, how's it spelled once again?
IVERMECTIN.
Ivermectin.
Ivermectin as a COVID-19 treatment.
Damn.
Ivermectin
Yeah, experimentation on them is what that is.
Yep. Ivermectin is a medicine approved by the FDA for use in people to treat infections caused by some parasitic worms, head lice, as well as skin conditions such as rosacea, according to the administration's website. Versions of the drug are also made for animals, and those are not approved for any use in people.
Lawsuit.
Yep. I
It sound
remember.
like Dr. Fauci's fucking sidekick gone wild type shit.
Ivermectin.
Dr. Frankenstein type shit.
Yeah.
Ivermectin has never been approved as a treatment for COVID-19. Harris, the physician who was contracted to provide care at the Washington County Jail in August, said in August to county officials that he was given ivermectin to inmates as a COVID treatment.
Well,
Yeah, those are misprescribed drugs right there.
that motherfucker going to jail for malpractice.
Right.
Killing him.
Yeah, no, you're right. Bay, he should go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's malpractice big time.
Right.
Playing with people's lives and shit.
So what does the lawsuit say? The lawsuit contends that the detainees, represented by, again, the American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU of Arkansas, were given ivermectin as early as November 2020 and didn't become aware of what the treatment was until July. The lawsuit states that they were told the treatment consisted of vitamins, antibiotics, and other steroids or steroids.
Them inmates, man, are subjected to fucking sci-fi fucking experiments like this.
Man, acres of
Yeah. Once again with this weird science shit.
Yeah, and they're just in there. They're captive. They can't get out of it. You know, they can't get out of it. They fucking the inmates right there. All the political prisoners in general are just fucking are the experimental tools for the fucking government, and they can't. They have no fucking recourse. That's just terrible shit.
Yeah, guinea pigs.
Yeah, terrible. And it's terrible the government practice and fucking pollute these poor men and women for their own motherfucking financial gain, and they can get away with fucking state sanctioned murder, fucking polluting a motherfucker's body, fucking around. They get away with it because prisoners are just fucking slaves, basically. Basically, that's what they are. You know, it's sad to say that shit, but that's what it is. That he never ended. It just got a fancier brick building. You know what I mean? And they've been making money off these people, and not only that, but they've been killing them unnecessarily, experimenting on them. And the longer you're in there, the more subjected or the more tantalizing you are to be experimented on.
Right. Shout out to Outlaw Radio. Appreciate you, Kevin Barnes, for tuning in. Make sure y'all.
Oh yeah. Definitely give Mr. Barnes our regards.
But this article goes on to say the lawsuit states the men were given inappropriately high doses of ivermectin, and that the drug caused side effects among inmates such as strong abdominal pain, loss of appetite, vision issues, diarrhea, bloody stool, and or stomach cramps.
Jeez.
So which means it's slicing up his digestional system.
Mm-hmm.
It's already hard enough to live in there. Now you got to focus on your being balled up and going number 2 blood. It's all messed up, man.
Yeah.
All messed up.
The following asserts that the administration of the drug was a violation of the inmates' due process rights and their right to equal protection under the law. The suit also claims that Karis violated a state law that requires medical providers to warn a patient of hazards of future medical treatment. Have the doctor or staff or others responded? No response has been filed in court by Karis or anyone else. But Karis did defend his use of ivermectin in a statement in August. Karis said he had prescribed it to prisoners in patients at his clinics since late 2020 and believed a comparison of the potential benefits to the known risks supported his use of the drug. Wow.
Jesus.
Kares said he was trying to prevent death or serious injury, and none of the 500 plus people to whom he had given ivermectin had been hospitalized, incubated, or died. Helder,
God damn.
sheriff, said in late August that he learned of the drug's use after it had already been administered in jail, and he decided not to second guess or override the decisions of the medical staff.
Hell no. And poor prisoners, man, they just in there just getting all kind of fucking shit. They just taking advantage of these men and women. They're just taking advantage of them and they just completely destroying their innards. They're taking their rights away, and they're not protected at all. They have no protection in there, not legally, not morally. There's no protection for them, man. And if y'all don't feel bad about that shit, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you need to feel bad about that. Like, there needs to be some serious advocacy for.
No, all them people involved in that case there against that young man should be arrested.
For real.
Right.
Murder in the first degree.
Well, we're talking about the ivermectin case, and them as guinea pigs.
Yeah, that's what I mean by murder in the first degree, because that's special circumstance in some states.
This motherfucker been practicing this shit since 2020. Admittedly, that motherfucker, who knows how many people he's killed or harmed or anything.
Yep.
That's what.
Hey, but look at here, y'all. I hate to cut this here short, but I'm about to fall out.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you.
Yeah. Coming on. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. And then definitely, of course, shout out there, the Outlaw Radio, to Mr. Kevin Barnes. Shout out there to Blacc Radio, Mr. Jay Dizzle. And definitely there to Mr. Jason Blacc.
Yes.
Over there of what he's doing. And I'm Shabaka Sankori. Definitely check us out on Shabaka's Black Experience. You could Google our archive episodes. And once again, the phone number for all you Biden supporters to call is 516-418-5996. All right, Brother Che. Okay, Lady Che, you all have a nice night.
Bye, all right, peace,
Shabaka.
Always. Okay, I'm out. Okay.
All right, Black. So we're down to the last two topics of the night.
Yeah.
And they are our favorite topics of the night.
Yeah.
And they are the unhoused neighbors news and unhoused neighbor sweeps. So they hit on what's been happening.
Well, the sweeps continue to happen as usual. I continue to take offense that me and Che here don't know when the sweeps happen, which is like I've been taking it personal for the last 3 weeks when they keep us off the list to know when, due to the fact that they don't want us.
We're talking about you, Denver Homeless Out Loud.
Yes, especially you. I mean, come on, can't we just pretend to be friends? Jesus. I mean, just pretend, just for the sake of argument, that there's people out there that need to be housed. Right. Can we just pretend? You know what I mean? God,
but the sweeps continue.
Sweeps continue, and they've been continuing all week. This week coming up is a week that me and Che could actually get out in the field again. I've had some personal things happen to where it's kind of held us back a little bit. We're over that now. We're better now. We've gotten through all that. Now we can go and hit the field. However, we find that we have to go a different route to get our information, to find out where the sweeps are happening so that we can look out for our Black family, stay in touch with our Black family, as well as other family members that are out there unhoused, unprotected from the elements, and are not getting what they need. As far as anything else, we're just gonna have to go the other route. I put a PSA out earlier in the week directly to someone I felt that was extremely disrespectful to us. However, I've come to just think about it like this: we're just gonna do the work and let the work speak for itself. I nor him have anybody to answer to. Who we answer to is the people, and that's all that's important to us right now. Is the people and the people getting what they need. It's winter time. We have brief moments of winter. Like yesterday, it snowed, and it's cold. People are getting swept every couple of days, and we don't get to know about it. So until after the fact, or while it's being filmed, and it's terrible because we can't even, it's why can't we be of support? Why must you hinder us and our supportive efforts? It's okay. Continue what you're doing, um, and that's be disrespectful. All you're doing is hurting the people when they can't get all the support that they need because you're only limited to what you're not going to provide for them or what kind of resources you're not going to give them. Whereas you disallowing others who may or may not have better options for said individuals, meaning us. So you don't let us find out. That's cool. Eventually we'll find out. Eventually we'll, and we'll do the work that you don't do. So that's pretty much where we stand on that. This week is going to be kind of heavy. I feel like as we'll be getting back in the field, amongst our other obligations to the people. Um, that's pretty much it. This is nothing normal. I've seen like one or two sweeps in the same areas. Although we did have a death in the Arkins, we call it Arkins. They call it Arkins. We call it over by the bridge, crossroads. There was a death on the same day as a sweep, and early in the wee hours of like 2-3 a.m. It was last Saturday. Someone had got shot, and then a couple hours later, it was like a weekday, right?
A couple of days later.
Tuesday of that week, they swept that same area. And if you know anything about that area, which we do, because we've experienced many, 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 many fucking sweeps in that area. Even when I was living off the bridge as a homeless person, that is predominantly homeless section. You got the uppity people, the uppity white people that live right there on the corner, and then you got homeless people that live right, literally down the block where the rescue mission is. And someone had got shot, and most likely it was a homeless person. You heard about it briefly, and that was it. And that's a tragedy because they didn't know who that person was. So on to more further investigation from with that, and hopefully, not hopefully, definitely next weekend when we do Frontline Black News, we'll have more to report in our own footage of what's actually going on to really add a little bit of content to what we're talking about. Um, and I do have to say this, Black Valley, you are in the city of Denver. If you buy yourself a gallon of water, buy the homeless one, buy the homeless people too. For the simple fact that is right now we're in winter and people are losing limbs and they are dehydrated, they are lacking. So if you come up with hygiene like wipes, hand sanitizer, the fire cans that are easy 6-hour burners, things like that's where they don't have to get propane. Feel free to find us and we will disperse them to local unhoused neighbors. You could always reach out to us on our web pages, prospectively, because it is a necessity. Tents, tarps, blankets, sleeping bags, things like that. Because there are no service providers actually doing that in the city, regardless of what the fuck they say. They are not doing it. There is no resources locally available for our unhoused neighbors, and they are starving and freezing to death. Not only do we have people out there with diabetes losing limbs, we have people losing limbs from frostbite and other elemental environmental issues. So if you do that and you have the means to, feel free to please look us up and we will disperse them immediately that same day. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts about coalition getting more money?
Fuck them. Nobody should have approved that. It is a failed fucking program. They said it many times on city council. It is a failed program. I am a product of that failure, of that CCH fucking propaganda. They still, if I really want to be technical about it, I can still be in my rights to sue them. Fuck them. They should never got no more money. And what they spend that money on but a motherfucking penitentiary fence. Okay, so no.
At the Fusion Studios.
At the Fusion Studios. The fucking plumbing is still shit. There's no electricity, and
And
now they
now
got
we have
cockroaches.
roaches.
Now they got cockroaches. They just let anybody and everybody up in that motherfucker. They don't police them. They don't fucking give them no structure. Anybody could be shooting up right in the front of the building, but yet the security guard will sweat fucking regular innocent folk just coming to visit. They will sweat them, but they won't fucking bother the junkies that are outside exposing their drug habit to average citizens who come in there to visit regular folk. Okay, there are regular folk that live in this particular building. Jesse is one of them. Okay, that don't do drugs and are not on no fucking don't drink, don't do any kind of nefarious activities. There are just a handful of regular folk that live in there, but they got to be subjected, like I have to be subjected when I go to visit before I even show my ID. Somebody offering me a fucking needle. So I think I'm cool on that. I think that program is a fucking failure, been a failure. They should have gotten no more money, and this would be what, twice in 1 year that they got $10 million. Who the fuck is approving it? Everybody over there except for maybe Candy Cetabaka should be fucking replaced. She's been stepping up a lot lately. Really stepping up.
Yeah, shout out to Councilwoman Candy Cetabaka.
Shout out to Councilwoman Cetabaka for being the only voice of motherfucking reason in a fucking whole room full of knuckleheads. She's the only one who's been stepping up and actually doing the work for the people. So shout out her efforts do not go unrecognized over here at all. We will stand with her as long as she continues to do the work for the people and to be a representative of the people currently. And that's a very big statement coming from me when I was all on her helmet about fucking her doing a sham job. So for her to step up to the max is a major motherfucking improvement and impressive to stand up in a room full of fucking people who are just about filling their pockets with the oppressor's money, bed wenching, buck breaking, all that other shit that's going on over there, prostituting themselves for fucking the mayor himself being a fucking hooker in his own rights. I mean, he's definitely like that. I mean, he's definitely. I wouldn't say he's a trick. I would say a trick would be spending money, get shit done. That motherfucker's over there prostituting himself.
He was at the Diamond Cabaret.
Yeah, he's so horrible. And just shout out to Candy because she is doing the work. She stepped it up majorly in the last 6 months, and her efforts are extremely recognized because, you know, we don't have nobody over there that really cares about unhoused individuals and systematic injustice. And she's actually doing the work of the little guy, and it's tough to be the underdog. So we got to at least support her in that. Right now, the topic what we care about the most is the unhoused neighbors, is unhoused individuals. It's a humanitarian issue, and we know where we stand with our Black people. And we want them to be safe. We want them to strive. We want them to succeed. Not to say that no, we don't want that for everybody. We definitely just want that. We definitely want that for our Black people because they're the ones that are being drugged, left behind in a repetitive cycle of fucking homelessness, hospitals, and jails, and they're not getting the fucking help they need. Even when you say you are helping them, you're not helping them because the proof is in the street. If they're still in the motherfucking street, what help did you give them? And as far as this fucking non-shelter requests, you have the money to put them in fucking hotels. and you choose
Where
not
the hotel vouchers at? One.
Yeah.
Why at every suite we go to, we don't see them passing out no
Nothing.
hotel
They don't
vouchers?
even offer it. They ask you if you got a job first. My thoughts to you, Black family out there, is just start telling everybody you got a job, and get into it that way. Because at this point in time, they don't give a fuck about anybody unless you're white, and that's facts. And you don't believe me? Roll back that beautiful fucking bean footage that I got fucking all over this page, even on my personal page of them fucking ignoring people and just offering them a list of shelters. Fuck the shelter. Unless you want to get stabbed, robbed, raped, or fucking COVID, don't go in there. You know what I mean? It's real shit. That's all I gotta say about that. Because even in the men's shelter, it's a known fact that all sorts of atrocities happen to men, and that's why they have to send over the special kind of men over to the women's shelter because they're not safe over there in a regular man's shelter. Regular men aren't even safe against other men from stealing their items to picking the worst types of fights, bullying, uh, snitching, fucking any of those things. But the most important thing is it's already hard enough for men to survive being homeless or sick or handicapped. It's another thing that you steal a man's personal articles that they've worked so hard to get. And that's a big factor. And they're not testing people. You know, you got people in there with no mask and spreading COVID round and round and round. I'm surprised anybody gets well. Going into Jesus Saves, especially Jesus Saves. Going to any of the shelters because COVID, since we had it, I know that I spent the longest on quarantine, 20 days? 20 days me on quarantine, segregated in my own house. And that's the only way that everybody could get well. So you explain to me how anybody in a fucking shelter who has COVID is getting well, let alone the whole shelter getting well. It's just a repetitive amount of fucking COVID in a petri dish amongst 200 fucking men who are just trying to sleep the night away to get ready for the busy day of trying to find a job, food, place to shower, so a change of clothes, a change of clean socks. And men, men want to value their feet. They're out there. They're fucking out there and they're trying to do their best. And a lot of people are just straight sleeping on that fact that there is no place to get well for these unhoused neighbors. That's why they are intense. That's why they live like that, so they can be separate from the shelters, separate from the infection, separate from the bullshit. And here, what we do, what is the city thinking it's okay to do? Sweep them around and not let them get a leg up. So I would put yourselves in that position that this could happen to anybody, and everybody is a fucking can be a target at any given time for homelessness. So that's all I got to say about that. Thank you very much. Please check in on the RBA. As soon as I get a mouse and I'm able to broadcast from my desktop, the RBA will be back. I'm sure no later than a week from now. So thank you very much. And join us for all our broadcasts, which is on Shabaka's Black Experience on Tuesday. The numbers should be scrolling across the bottom. If you feel like donating, feel free to. No worries. We don't expect it, but we do appreciate it. Let's see, the RVA is on Thursdays usually. If not, catch up on the latest episodes where I delve into white racism and white supremacy. And what else we have? And Frontline Black News, obviously on Saturdays at our regular scheduled time, normal time of 10 o'clock, where we tackle tangibles and other topics of interest. Thank you.
Yeah, so shame on you, Michael Hancoon. After 2 messages to the mayor, you still ain't got the memo. The sweeps are unconstitutional, they're inhumane, they're traumatic displacements, and I'll just start calling them destructions because you're destroying whole communities. When you do these sweeps, instead of housing people, we have over 26,000 vacant luxury apartments in the city and county of Denver. And they refuse to house people. They rather sweep them like trash.
Oh, you want to house motherfuckers that got $1 million fucking homes and fire insurance? They can have their houses built up again.
Oh, they said a lot of those homes didn't have insurance.
How the fuck is that even possible?
They said they never thought something like that would happen. What Lady Che's referring to is the fires that happened in the last year in Superior, in Louisville, and Lafayette, Colorado.
I don't know, man. I think if you live in a fucking dry brush area, you should expect a motherfucking fire to come through that.
Which is like 20 miles northwest of
Denver. That is nothing but tinder right there.
And how they're going out of their way to help these white, now homeless people, because their homes were burnt to the ground. Yeah. But they won't house and feed and clothe the citizens on their own streets in their own city that they live, work, and play in.
Call me a villain, but I just think that's wrong in all kind of levels. So, I'm not afraid to say that at all. I think it's fucking wrong, and shame on you for fucking doing it. And the people that lost their shit in the fire, that's one time. Whereas the motherfucking people on the streets, they lose their shit every 3 days. And they have been losing their shit every 3 days for more than 5 fucking years that I've been alive and been out there. So I know for a fact that is some motherfucking bullshit. And they think because they got fancy little jobs and their fancy little house burned down in a motherfucking brishy area is gonna fucking save them from my fucking ranting about it. Hell nah. Hell nah. It's fucking wrong. I'm wrong and wrong. You don't see anybody say, oh, why don't you go to the rescue mission, fire victims? No. Nobody mentioned that. Nobody told them to head down to Denver and just go into the fucking Samaritan house and the rescue mission. And nobody offered them that. Why? Because they're too good for that type of shit. So they'll be like, oh, we opened up the school late at night for you guys to come and rest. Oh, these people are opening up their houses. Okay, but did you see any motherfucker in Denver other than the people who are have been housed, like myself, Mr. Jerry Burton, a couple other people we know, open up our homes to motherfucking a few unhoused neighbors here and there? No. You know why? Because we're garbage compared to those people, right? It's okay to tell us to go into the motherfucking rescue mission where people get stabbed and killed or robbed or fucking COVID coughed on them 20 times a night. It's okay for us to go in there, right? But you won't tell these motherfucking Longmont fire victims to go in there. But you'll go ahead and help them. Fuck you, fucking Denver. Fuck you for that shit. You're wrong for that. And I'm gonna fucking say as long as I can.
Are they telling the Afghani?
Hell no.
Are they telling them they gotta go to Jesus Saves?
They ain't telling the motherfucking Afghanistan people that they let in here with their fucking enemies. They let them into our state and housed them and fed them and everything. They let them in. They didn't tell them to go to the fucking rescue mission. They didn't tell them to go to the Samaritan house. They didn't tell them to well, sorry, we can't help you. I guess you got to go get a tent and live on the fucking sidewalk. They didn't say that to them. They said, come on in, come on in, come on in. Shout out to Vicky Dillard. You know what I mean? Okay, it's real shit. Come on in, come on in, come on in. With your motherfucking enemies. When we're under some sort of terroristic attack or some crazy shit later, we're not going to be held responsible for that. We don't know what happened. That's how it's going to play out. Fuck that. No. No. Did you see what you get started, cuz?
So thank you to our viewers for tuning in. This has been episode 46 of the Frontline Black News. Make sure you check us out next Saturday for episode 47. And in the meantime, you can check us out on frontlinecampaign.org. That is the website for Frontline Campaign or Frontline Black News. And you can also check out Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out the Revolutionary Agenda on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Bae's been on a little hiatus, but she should be back this coming Thursday.
We got a new broadcast coming just for the ladies. We're me and Queen Bianca, the only other woman on Frontline Campaign, the only other sister is of anything it can be on that can be on Frontline Campaign. We'll be coming up with a show specifically just for the ladies, which will be another product of Frontline Black News. So please look forward to that. We'll be letting you guys know as soon as we get our all our ducks in a row and our topics that we want to discuss that is strictly for melanated women. So that's where we're going to go with that. And we here at Frontline Black News, the Revolutionary Agenda, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, are super excited about welcoming our sister to a platform right now where she has a place to express herself as she takes time bouncing between what is it,
Unity Community
News and whatever she taps into. So this will be more of like a permanent thing until otherwise further notice. Not taking her away from her other duties or anything, but we're extremely excited about offering her. Now I am excited about offering her a space and somewhere, and I'm glad to have someone to dialogue with from the female persuasion. We could talk about topics that I can't really just talk about with all my brothers. So we are extremely, extremely excited about this, and everybody on the campaign is just rooting for this new fresh breath of divine feminine energy and come in and just add a little bit of flavor and constructiveness to our growing platforms. So we are excited and we are so pleased and proud to go ahead and welcome Queen Bianca onto our platforms with a nice permanent little space for her to go ahead and spread some educational knowledge, and especially from the stance of being a mother and a woman, and amongst other attributes that the Queen has to offer us. So we are extremely, extremely proud and ready and happy that she's come on board, and I'm extremely proud and happy that she accepted my invite a whole year later.
Yeah.
This has been in the works for a year. That I've been sweating my sister to come on and get on board with me. So I am extremely, extremely, extremely excited about this from my standpoint, because uh, that was how we were gonna assess the revolutionary agenda. But instead, I took it to with my twin Ramel, who's on revolutionary vacation as usual. But I took it with him, and then I decided that since I'm a well-rounded platform performer, platform dialogue person, that I would just sweat my sister some more to get her on board with coming to having a woman dialogue, a woman platform. And we've seen many platforms recently, and they don't have a chemistry like I and Queen Bianca have. We do have a very, very high energy vibe going on with us, and so I think that would be it's gonna be good for everybody, I think. So I'm extremely excited and proud that she finally took me up on my offer a whole year later, and her clear schedule is cleared up, so she's able to come aboard, and we here are extremely excited and cannot wait for her to come on and be a regular contributing member to our platform. So we're excited.
Yes. So welcome aboard, Queen Bianca. Make sure y'all look out for the Queen show. What's the date on that?
We don't know yet. I'm going to sit down with her this week and write it up.
Okay. So
nice
we will
structure.
be having the Queen circle, if you will, of the Frontline Black News. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you can check us out next Saturday, episode 47. Check out the Revolutionary Agenda on Thursday at 4 p.m. Mountain. And also check out Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Sundays, Tuesdays, and sometimes Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
And the call-in number for all you bite nights
is
516-418-5996. You press 1 and you'll be added to the queue. Peace, love, light, and Black empowerment. We're out. Peace.